I lost my child to foster care. She was about 8 years old when that happened. She was in foster care for about 2 years before she came back home. I was doing drugs every day. There was never a day that went by that I wasn't doing that for a long, long time. Her going to foster care was not my number one priority. Everything becomes about the drug. Everything becomes about living in the lifestyle of dealing drugs and being around drugs and people doing drugs and all of that sort of thing. So all of that became a reality for me. So as that spiraled downward, I guess that the consequences got higher for me. I started overdosing, started having people around me overdosing a lot, started being in places and with people that I guess I would say I never thought I would cross the line. But as most people know, and addicts for sure know, that no matter where the line is, there's always another one. And no matter where you think the bottom is, it can always be lower. So I really feel like that is kind of where I ended up. There was a treatment center here in town at the time, and they had never had a pregnant person in there before. It was 1989, so long time ago. And they weren't sure they could bring me in there. They didn't know whether Department of Mental Health, whether, whoever their funders were at the time, and I didn't know anything about any of that then. And so they didn't know if they could bring me in there, but they did eventually. 9 days, I called every day. And finally she said, okay, well, just come on in here. So we did that. And I stayed there from April till September, not knowing what I was going to do, whether I was going to really have a baby or not. And so that was the beginning of my recovery, that was the beginning of my journey there. And I just celebrated 29 years clean last April. My early recovery consisted of going to meetings and really doing aftercare with that treatment facility. I consider it to be the normal kind of stuff, but for people who don't know, those aftercare things are really important. I had a counselor one time that drilled into me that who you hang out with says as much about you as it does about them. And so I understand how important the peer group is in that environment. So going to meetings, that's what I chose to do. There are many paths to recovery, so I understand that as well, but that really is what saved my life, was being able to go to treatment, come out of treatment, and have that support from the treatment center available to me, and then them teaching me how to go to meetings no matter what, that I wasn't going to have anything if I didn't stay in recovery. So I was going to lose it all again anyway. So they really taught me that core piece of how to do that. I've sponsored a lot of people over the years, and I've spent a lot of time with boots on the ground, so to speak, in recovery. I've done women's retreats and just all kinds of different things. But I know that every day when I get up and go to work now, that I'm really saving lives. The drugs today are different. The amount of time that we get to spend with people in order to try to save their life is very short. We don't have the luxury of having long-term. I stayed in treatment from April to September. We don't have long-term treatment centers like that anymore. I know that when I get up and go to work every morning, there's going to be something crazy going on, because you can't make that stuff up. I say that all the time at work, but I know for sure that a life is going to be saved every single day that I go to work. And that's no joke. That's a literal life-saving place. Phoenix Programs is a literal life-saving place every single day.